Hey, it's Jesse from Radical Metal. Welcome to another episode of Meeting in the Madness, where I come to you unshowered and uncut on a weekend. I'm trying to do a weekly thing, maybe weekly. I have time today. The kid's at a pool party, so I can do another one, 2 weeks in a row, where I try to make sense of the big headlines out there. Before I get started, some Radical Metal stuff. Hey, you can get this hat if you like it, radicalmetal.com, with a link to our merch store. You can get things like this shirt, which I think is pretty cool, where you can mix and match colors and whatever products you want on there. There's water bottles, there's all kinds of stuff. They make it, they have a vast selection of things you can put our logo on. So, hit it up, check it out. At least tell us what you think. That'd be great. So what's going on in the world? Well, let's get right into it. Let's start with some heavy metal news for once. Megadeth announced their final tour. I really think it's cool. If you go online, check out Megadeth's final tour. They got a cool video where Vic Rattlehead, who ushered my wife down the aisle way back when, and if you don't know that story by now, almost in every other video we have on here, but it's all in white, which I think is cool. I think it's set on fire, but Megadeth's calling it quits. A 2-year, I think, farewell world tour, and then who knows what's gonna happen. Will they pop up here and there? Probably, likely, but I certainly want to catch them, and it might be even cool to catch them on the very last show. But we'll see where it is and what's going on with that. Now moving to other headlines. So what's going on? One thing that I find to be concerning, and look, we're Radical Metal. Radical Metal, we point out what concerns us on the right or what concerns us on the left. We also give credit to when the right gets it right and when the left gets it right, because that's who we are. We're not afraid to poo-poo on everything just to take a side. So keep that in mind. I think I have to keep saying that and reminding people what we stand for. But there's a radical left, there's a radical right. We want to get radical about the middle, radical about common sense solutions that through collaboration. Honestly, the right and the left need each other for democracy to flourish. But today I'm probably going to criticize the right a little more than the left. We need a balanced democracy, and it's feeling a little imbalanced. What's the latest that I'm concerned about? Trump asking Texas to appoint 11 congressmen. Without getting into all the details, something to do with redistricting and all that kind of stuff. But without letting the people decide, Trump is asking the governor to appoint 11 congressmen, and that could have a potential sway in the next election. I think that's wrong. It harkens to what was kind of a red line in the sand for me for Donald Trump, which was the 11,780 votes, calling Raffensperger, the attorney general down in Georgia in the 2020 election, asking to find 11,780 votes. That just reeks of a blatant disregard for our election process and government by consent. So I have a real big issue with that. And I posted about that, I've written about that, I talk about that. And it is a line in the sand. Having said that, I always talk about, I like some of the things Trump does. I like that, I like his putting Bitcoin on the map. I know a lot of you don't understand Bitcoin. A lot of you think it's some kind of scam or something. But when you understand it, you separate it from all the other crypto nonsense that gives Bitcoin a bad name. If you go down the rabbit hole enough, as I have, you'll see tremendous value in that. Tremendous value in maybe a life raft in what we're now in, which is a debt spiral. So anyway, I digress. But this stuff about the 11 congressmen in Texas, that's something I'm worried about. And we'll see what happens. But it goes against government by consent, and that's everything we stand for, right? The other thing is this National Guard stuff. You know, I wasn't too worried about it initially. But he's basically deployed National Guard and some other agencies in the DC area to stop crime and whatnot. Crime has been going down. And so that's something the Democrats would say, why are you deploying them when crime is going down? And then another thing they might say is, hey, look at Alabama, look at Louisiana. Those crime rates are way worse than DC crime right now. Red states. So why aren't we deploying National Guard there? Why DC? If those statistics, while maybe bad, they're not as bad as other areas. So why DC? Oh, there's a fly here. So, at first I was like, well, you see all these videos of people just stealing stuff, and nobody's stopping them. And it seems like police might be overwhelmed, and so it's almost like they're encouraged, folks who steal are encouraged to do it more because there doesn't seem to be consequences. So that's disconcerting. And initially I was thinking, oh, maybe it's not so bad, maybe it's just a temporary presence. But I have to say, after seeing videos of them walking through Georgetown, Georgetown, come on. These are places where the worst thing going on is somebody gets too drunk or something. So that seemed weird, but it also kind of smells like Trump testing the waters to deploy the National Guard whenever he wants, and maybe even for some kind of takeover. Now, does that sound too paranoid? I don't know. Can you really put anything past Trump? Is there really anything unprecedented? That word has lost its meaning with him. So I don't know, and I don't want to read too much into it, but it almost feels like a testing ground. It came out of the blue, and it almost feels like a testing ground for when, hey, if he doesn't win the election, maybe he can impose some martial law, some of that Project 25 stuff. And I don't know if that's the case. I could be wrong, and happily admit being wrong, and admit being wrong often, but it does smell a little bit like that, and that is very concerning. I like testing the waters for when he has to do it for real in order to sustain his power. That's concerning. So I don't know. I'm a little freaked out by that. And we'll see. I'm freaked out because it seems like he's just testing what he can do in order to pull the trigger on that later. I think not to mention, he's doing a bunch of crazy stuff, like look at here, because Epstein. What happened to Epstein? Everybody was enraged about that, and now it's been like radio silence. Where has that gone? It's just weird. It's like he's got some levers and switches at his disposal, and maybe this is true of the left too, or maybe it's just true of the powerful, to somehow silence the crowd. I know he deploys his minions, like the Charlie Kirks and the Megyn Kellys out there, to downplay what this is, but what are we doing here? Like, why is that not... it's so obvious that he doesn't want something to be found out. I don't know what that is, but it can't be any more obvious that there's something in there he doesn't want people to know. So is that to protect us? It doesn't feel that way. Is that to protect him or his buddies? I never thought Trump the type to cross that line of underage girls. Maybe girls half his age, but illegal. I've never really pegged him for something like that, and I still don't think that's true. But something's going on there, and it seems like a cover-up. And now that they say that something's going to come out soon, but they've had all this time to kind of, I feel like they're just manipulating whatever's out there in order to send a message, in order to keep in line with their narrative on this, which is, hey, not a big deal. At least not a big deal for my administration. So anyway, I'm wondering where the heck all that stuff is, where the heck that stuff goes. Democrat, Republican, they need to, whoever is on list, and I don't know if there's like a no kidding list, but whatever information that is could lead to a prosecution, then I think people need to know. And whether that's on the right or the left or in between. So I don't know how he's getting away with that one. At first, I think last week I was saying that, wow, this is the first time MAGA is holding him accountable for something. But I don't feel that anymore. I feel like this is another one that's gonna slip out everybody's fingers. He's like seriously the luckiest guy out there. He slipped through all the fingers, and whether you think it's fair, people going out after him, or you think it's legitimate, he's really like slipped through everybody. He's the Teflon Don. Even Bill Maher was saying, hey, maybe there is something spiritual about this. Can you believe that? Because he can't explain it. He can't explain how he's gotten away with everything. So interesting. I don't think he should get away with this stuff. And because and when it comes to kids, right is right and wrong is wrong. There's no gray area or middle ground. There's no radical middle when it comes to that stuff. So why can't we know about it? Why can't we hold those people accountable? Anyway, so having said that, he's done a lot of stuff that I'm actually for. Again, back to the Bitcoin stuff and whatnot. I think there's a plan there that I know a lot of people poo-poo it, but there's a lot of smart people that also seem to back it that aren't really politically affiliated. Even with the tariffs. Is it all good? Is it all great? Is it all genius? No, but there's some good elements. So I'm kind of like, well, let's wait and see. Let's see what happens with this stuff. So anyway, that's the headlines. Uncut and unshowered today. And that's my perspective. Get your hats. Get your shirts. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? I might give this to my sister. It's so pretty. Or I'll just keep it for myself. Christmas is coming. With that, I think we'll end. Oh, and coming up soon, we will have, I want to say Palaces is going to be on tour with Generation of Vipers in Tennessee, Texas. They're playing the Levitation Festival in Austin, Texas. Go Palaces. I just started listening to Generation of Vipers. They're apparently Bill Kelleher is a big fan, and I was listening to them today doing yard work. No, I wasn't listening to Leaf Blower, but I would have loved it. But was listening to Generation of Vipers, and they may come on the show. We'll see. I reached out to them. They said, yeah, let's do it. We just got to figure out maybe a date. So all that to look forward to. And then finally, after this, I'm going to make a video about my top 10 thrash metal albums of all time. Or top 10 metal albums of all time. And then Simon is going to make a video of his top 10. And I'm going to probably at some point explain why my list is better. It's not subjective. I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. With that, have a great day, and we'll see you maybe next week if I can keep this momentum going. All right, take care.